Dead Island. Yes, another zombie game. I know what you're thinking. What happened to Dead Rising 4? With the release of the long-awaited sequel, I decided to put Dead Rising 4 on hold and come back to it later. Maybe we'll see. Dead Rising 4 kind of blows. But yes, Dead Island 2 is finally coming out. Remember back in 2014 when that cool-ass trailer dropped? Well, that was almost 10 years ago. And it's finally being released. So I decided to take a look back on the series for some reason. From what I remembered, I really liked the first. The second was alright, in quotation marks. Riptide was okay. And the spinoff just was completely trash. But enough of that intro shit. Let's take a trip to Banoi and take a look back on Dead Island. Dead Island was a zombie game released back in the great year of 2011, and it being an Xbox 360 game in the early 2010s and being first person, it has no FOV slider on console. And I played this on the remaster, the definitive edition. Also doesn't have an FOV slider. So the first issue I have is the fucking motion blur. Throughout most of the game, I got headaches just from playing more than an hour. Even the remaster was really bad on this. Had a lot of, like, whenever you ran out of stamina, the screen would just go stupid blurry, and you couldn't see a thing. Driving was terrible. Until you get used to it, as the game progresses. So that kind of sucks. There wasn't that many crashes from what I've played. There was a lot of wonkiness, as we'll talk about later. But no real crashes, no frame drops like in the Dead Rising games, thank God. There was a lot of janky animations, which caused a good amount of funny moments. I chose to play as Sam B, which sometimes he just couldn't fit through some spaces, which I don't know if it was done on purpose, or if it was I don't know if that was done on purpose, or if it was planned, but, with the elevator, the first part of the game, the dude couldn't fit through the elevator, and I had trouble getting through the elevator, which is not good. Another thing that I didn't really like was the weapon system, as in this game, there is a stamina bar, so if you run, jump, swing your weapon, you lose stamina, obviously. You have different characters, which are specialty in different thing. Logan is the throwing expert, Sam B as a blunt weapons expert, Zan is a sharp weapon expert, and Pruma, whatever you name, I don't know how to say her name, honestly, is a gun expert. But most weapons I felt weren't very good, and with the stamina system, you start finding guns halfway through, and guns don't use stamina. So you kind of just use guns until you run out of bullets. And that's what I did. Because some guns, like this AK I found, did 2,000 damage. While this lightning machete I made with the modifying system, as we'll talk about later, did 400. Most way through the game, I didn't realize I wasn't using a blunt weapon. Because, well, my stupid brain was oh, an axe should be blunt, right? Because you use both hands to swing an axe. I thought that's what classified as a blunt weapon, but apparently it was a bladed weapon, which I didn't know, so I didn't really get any, so I didn't get any boost from, skills or anything. Maybe, I don't think that's the game's fault, I think that's just my fault. But, another thing is, I never really felt more powerful as the game progressed. Like in Dead Rising, your character starts off as a bumbling idiot, and what's supposed to happen is as you level up, you get stronger, like in most video games. That's just how it is. But I never really felt like that in Dead Island. I felt like I had more health, I had more stamina, but I didn't feel like my weapons did more damage. I just felt like I knew I had more health, I knew I had more stamina, but I didn't feel like I did more damage. I still felt like at the end of the game that I was taking 5-6 hits to kill a zombie, like at the beginning of the game. Maybe that's just the zombie's health being too high or whatever. Or maybe I'm just stupid. Because Sam B does get a cool, like, tackle animation as you level up, which I really thought was funny. And, like, the drop kick wasn't really used much in here. But, yeah. The animations in this game are wonky as shit. From the different kind of zombies just running into walls, or NPCs over here just walking through doors, or Sam B not being able to fit through small spaces, the lip syncing just being utterly awful, like it's an anime with an English dub. It was bad. But I honestly never thought that this was a bad thing. Nothing really happened where I was like, oh, I have to restart, except this part when I was escorting the lady at the end, and she just got juggled by these zombies, and I already jumped down and I couldn't jump back up the rocks, so I had to restart that, which was kind of frustrating. But honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal, so who really cares? Unlike the Dead Rising series, there's a bunch of different zombie types. You have the walkers that are just your standard dumb zombies. Infected, which are dummy fast. Thugs, the big guys, the big brute guys. And then you have, I think they're called, I don't know what they're called. I'm a bad reviewer, I know. But the big fat ones, they spit out fucking gunk at you. And I do like all of the different types. I feel like they are, balanced enough. Once you see a big thug, you're like, oh shit, I gotta take that guy out. But what they did was they just spammed infected throughout the game. So, like, you'd just be, like, walking around and, like, 6 dudes just come running from way the fuck over there. And you're like, holy shit. And then you get overwhelmed and you die. So that's not kind of fun. Oh, I also forgot one. The Rams, the big old guys. They're bigger than the thugs, but they like charge at you. Those guys are fucking annoying and impossible to kill with any weapon that's not the Fury mode, which good segue into Fury mode as I use Sam B. I didn't know about the other Furies or if they're cool. Fury mode is basically your like action skill if you played Borderlands. So what Sam B's is that he takes out some brass knuckles and starts beating the shit out of all the zombies, which was fun. I really liked it. And you could upgrade that. That made me feel more powerful than the regular upgrades. Honestly, I would just put all your points into the Fury upgrades, and then that would be it. The compass as well, fucking useless. Multiple times throughout the game, it changed or just led me into a dead end. It was bad. However, through these problems, I really enjoyed the gameplay, even with some of the technical issues and the other gameplay problems I had. I really had a good time playing through. But the story, it was awful, and the story structure was terrible. It took me about 7 hours to beat this game. That's without side missions, because, spoiler alert, the whole game is a fucking side mission, and it is awful, and I hated it, and it never really gave me what... When I went to pick up a side quest, it never really told me what I was getting. It just told me the skulls, the number of fucking skulls, which was how difficult it is, but half the time it would give me 5 skull missions, and it would be, go get food and bring it back. So I really didn't care about side missions, I didn't care about the story. But overall, the gameplay is really, really fun, and I really enjoyed it. How many times can I say really in a sentence? Damn! But I did enjoy the game, so if you don't want spoilers, that is your review. The story is bad, the gameplay is wonky and broken, but it is an enjoyable time. So, that's it. If you made it this far, great job watching and listening to my nonsense rambles for this long. But the story section, stick around for the story section, because I absolutely go ape shit on the story because it's so bad. But shout out to you. So let's just get into the story. Okay, before we start the story breakdown, I have a confession to make. I didn't pay attention to the story, like, at all. I know, terrible, but I didn't care. From the beginning to the end, I didn't care. Most of the main, quote-unquote, main missions in this game felt like side quests, and I'll get into it as we move along during the story. Most of the missions were get this, bring it back, get that, bring it over there, and that's most of the story. So you could say I didn't like it. I can say I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but let's just get into it. The adventure begins with the greatest rap song I've ever heard, Who Do You Voodoo, Bitch, by the greatest character in the game, Sam B. This is also where we meet our other playable characters. The aforementioned Sam B, we have Logan, we have Zan, and we have Peruna? I don't know if that's how you say it, but let's just move on. So, we see a lot of people partying in this opening cutscene. We see some guys, biting people, and you're like, what the fuck? And then we just go to our room, and we fall asleep. After choosing Sam B, we wake up, and we make our way through the hotel. We go to a balcony and see some people falling off the edge. Oh no, that's not very good. Sam B struggles to get into the elevator, which is not story-related, it's just the bad animations, and it falls under the massive man that he is. There's a camera in the elevator, and a voice starts talking to us. He tells us to grab a weapon, and says to run away from the infected. They're not zombies, they're infected. Then a zombie fucking knocks us out, and some ugly fuckers take us away. We wake up in a blurry mess of a cutscene, and honestly, I don't know what's going on because everyone here is talking at once. It sounds like there's a damn bombing run going on outside, so I couldn't tell you what's going on. For some reason, no one can go outside to save the lifeguard because, guess what? This is a video game, so no one can do a damn thing. So Sam B goes out to save him. The lifeguard plays on his radio thing, and a voice starts talking to him. His name is literally the voice for some reason. It's revealed to be the bad guy later. I don't know why they couldn't reveal us his name now, but his name is just the voice for some reason. The voice tells the group that he can evacuate all of us. Isn't that... The lifeguard tells us his name is John Cinemoy, the second best character in the game, only because of his design of his tattoo on his fucking eye. That's kinda cool. He says that the guy on the radio says that our characters are immune to zombies. Somehow he knows this. I don't know how the guy on the radio knows this, but he does, and it doesn't matter. John Cinemoy gives us our first side quest of the story, and he says that there is a monsoon coming, and we need to evacuate everyone to the lifeguard station. However, guess what? He says he forgot his key in the bungalow. Oh no. So he tells us to go get the key and bring it back. The first of many main side quests. After bringing the key back, he tells us we have to go unlock it. Which, why didn't he tell us before we got back here? Because video game. After killing our first thug, yes, that is exactly what they're called, we radio for Cinemoy to bring the others. Cinemoy says we don't have any food, but in the meantime, fucking just go ask people to do shit. I don't have nothing for you, so just go ask other people. The devs are out of ideas, and we're only 3 missions in. This is wonderful. So, we start talking to the other people. We meet Dominic, and guess what his quest is? The antenna doesn't work and needs an amplifier, so go get it. We go to the lighthouse to meet another group, which guess what? They aren't important, and we literally don't meet them ever again. I didn't know their name at all, so why mention this? Because it's a main fucking quest. That's why I mention it. We help the lighthouse people. They say thank you, and we get the amplifier. Then we go help Mike with his quest. Guess what his quest is? The bodies are smelly. They need burned with gas. Go to the gas station, fill the truck up with gas, and bring it back. That's the fucking quest. And you walk 4 miles an hour with the gas cans, and it is awful. Guess what? You see these skulls at the end of the quest screen here? That means it's max difficulty. This is the hardest quest in the game so far. After we give Mike the gas, the most melodramatic cutscene I have ever witnessed takes place, but Mike's funny-ass face just makes it even better. We return to Cinemoy after those 2 brilliant quests, and he says the guy on the radio hasn't responded yet, so he gives us more to do. He says, go get water and bring it back. Not only does Cinemoy tell us to go get water, he suggests checking the bars. After bringing back the water, Cinemoy asks you to get more shit. Jesus Christ. He says the quest is easier with the car, so he sends us to the hotel to get a truck. Once getting to the hotel, we meet more useless people. There we meet David, and he says he can help us get to the parking lot, but he says no until we save his friend Ken. Once making it to Ken, we realize Ken was kicked in the fucking balls and is unable to make it back to David. Because he dies? I guess? He doesn't look hurt. He just is like holding his stomach. I don't know. We make it to the security room and meet Mike. Another Mike. It's not the same Mike from the lifeguard tower. It's a different Mike. He says the security system is shut down and we must reboot it. And this takes forever. We get to the parking lot and we unlock the truck. At some point, I honestly don't know when, a plane crashes. And Cinemoy tells us to check it out for supplies. Because guess what? We're still out, even though we've been on 4 fucking supply runs. We meet a new type of zombie. This one blows up when you get near, and that's literally it. Why talk about this in the story section? It's because the story fucking sucks. We find Nikolai, and he wants us to take him to a bunker. Nikolai runs like he literally just shit his pants, and finally, we make it to the bunker. Cinemoy tells us that the armored truck we found isn't strong enough, so he sends us to a mechanic to make it more armored? Once meeting Earl, the mechanic, he tells us that he was bit and wants to help. Well, good thing, Earl, I don't care about you. We just met, so, oops. Earl agrees to make the truck stronger, and we defend the shop. Earl tells the four to take his daughter with him, so now we have another useless character added to the group. The group says no, and Earl and the daughter throw a fit for a couple more seconds, and then the 5 all leave. I don't know her name, and I didn't care to look. I think her name is Jen. I'm not sure. That's just what I'm going to call her for the rest of the video. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what I'm going to call her. After that amazing mission, we then drive to the truck into town to, guess what? Find more supplies for Cinemoy. The 5 in the truck go to the church, and guess what? There's zombies in front of it, so we kill them all. After killing all the zombies outside, we meet Mother Helen. Her side quest she gives is to kill a zombie that's ringing the church bell. How riveting. After that, we tell Helen that we need supplies, but guess what? Helen won't give us supplies until we do her missions first. She wants us to find the guys that she sent to fix the water. We go to the water pumps to turn them on, and it turns into a wonky-ass firefight. The one guy tells us we have to close fucking fire hydrants before we can fix the water. This is side quest Inception. After that great adventure, Helen then tells us we need to go to the wealthy part of town if we want any supplies. Joseph, just like Nikolai, runs in a zombie apocalypse like he shit his pants. Not important to the story at all, but it's just funny. Once making it through the sewers, we meet some police guys. They are dickheads. We go talk to the mayor and he says we don't have any supplies. So that was a huge waste of time again. The 4 playable characters have a dumb conversation that leads to nowhere. Logan says fuck 'em and let's leave, but the others say no. And we continue helping Cinemoy. Some random guy named Josh says he knows where to find food. Guess where the food is? The fucking grocery store. He says we have to go through them stupid sewers again, but the guard won't let us until we do his side quest. Yes, this is a part of the story. Once giving him some beer, we can go in the sewers again. After making it to the market, we find more looter guys, and we kill them. We get the supplies, and we save the day. Game, however, is not over yet, so unfortunately, we have to continue. After making it back to the church, Helen then tells us that the mechanic's daughter and Joseph went to the police station to give them food, even though that was directly stated not to do. But whatever. We leave the church and find Joseph beaten by the cops. He walked a total of 15 feet and died. The police stole Jen, and we have to go, yes, you guessed it, back through the sewers. After killing those guys, we save Jen, the greatest character in the game, that does so much. Back at the church, Helen talks about God or some shit, I don't know, and Cinemoy tells us to go back to the lifeguard station. He tells us that, guess what, the voice guy hasn't reached us yet, and he says Dominic went to the hotel to get a better signal. Cinemoy wants us to go to the hotel to find him, and we go. We make it to the hotel, and we reach the voice guy. He says he can save us, but guess what? We have to help him first. And we have to make him to a prison on some island so the game can continue. Now, there's a lot of exposition here, so bear with me as I'm going to sum it up the best way and the fastest way I can. He says his wife is a doctor at the prison, and she got bit. He is a colonel or some shit for some military people, so he promises that he can get us a helicopter and escape. The four agreed to go to the prison, but first we need to find Mauen, so he can lead us to the prison. Mike tells us we need bombs to blow up the bunker. Remember the bunker from earlier? Nikolai with the shit in his pants? Yeah, that bunker. So we can head to the jungle. The four main characters and Jen go to the bunker entrance and blow it up. Ryder calls and tells us exactly what he told us 15 minutes ago, and he wants us to make an antidote, so we agree. The five go to a local village to find Mauen, but guess what? We don't find him. We found some other random people. He says that Mauen isn't here, and we need to do a side quest for him before he tells us where he is. So we go take down a gang leader, which is by far the worst encounter in the game. After doing this, we steal his boat. The other random guy that we found tells us to go to the swamp so we can find Mauen there. We found Mauen, but he says he can't take us to the prison. So again, yet another fucking waste of time. He says he knows where the zombies come from, but honestly, I don't care anymore. So, Mauen shows us to the lab. Dr. West, the doctor guy, wants to take some blood or some shit from the native people, so he sends us to, like, the gladiator pit. I don't care anymore at this point. I don't know how we got here. But we fight some zombies and take the blood. He says he needs some time to test the blood, and he needs a live sample. So we go back to the pit and find the leader guy. We bring him to find some other lady, and he's about to kill her. Oh no! We kill him and bring the lady back to the lab. Dr. West says, guess what? He still needs more time to test it again, and he gives us more side quests. Mauen now says that he can get us to the prison, but guess what? We need some gas before we can do so. So, we go get more gas, and Jesus, this is painful. Mauen then says they need to modify the boat, and we go back to Jen's father's workshop. Oh no, he's a zombie, just like he told us earlier that was going to happen. Good thing that doesn't really matter. After that pointless mission, we head back to the lab, but it's overran by zombies. Good thing that lady person was just in the cage? More dumb cutscenes happen, and we finally make it to the prison. While there, the prisoners give us more side quests, until we finally meet Ryder. This is the final boss fight. The whole game has been leading to this. All the bullshit, all the side quests, and it's over. I beat him while speaking. And some prisoner guy takes us in the helicopter and we fly into the sunset happily ever after. And that's the story. A terrible story to an honestly fun game. The gameplay was really fun. I really liked it. I had some problems with a little bit of it, but I would honestly replay this game just for the killing of zombies because it's so fun. I didn't care 20 minutes into the story, and it never got me back, which is kind of unfortunate. Dead Island 2 comes out this week at the time of this video. But before we cover that, we have to cover the first sequel, Dead Island Riptide. So that is Dead Island. The Game of the Year edition? I don't know why it got a Game of the Year release. It definitely was not the Game of the Year. It had a lot of technical issues, but some of them made it fun. The story was kind of doo-doo. I kind of didn't like it, and I didn't care. If you made it to the end of this video, shout out to you. Leave a like, sub, leave a comment, do all of the stuff at the bottom. I would appreciate that. So I don't have any more to say, so goodbye.